I want to take you back to when you were a young man, when you were in college. I believe you're working something like 40 hours a week in addition to being a student.
Yeah.
And you, with the money you make, you buy a Porsche. Why tell people that your parents actually bought it for you?
Well, because I went to USC at the time that almost every kid was really rich. And I just felt like, wow, I am a real outsider here. And so therefore I thought I better change this somehow. So basically I thought I need a symbol. And so the symbol would be a Porsche, a 911T Targa. And so what I did is, without telling anybody, I worked at the Howard Johnsons, and I worked 40 hours a week, and I pretty quickly raised enough money to get a down payment to buy a Porsche.
You're, I think, 23 years old at the time. Tell about the job you had and how you were able to wrangle your way to consistently get in front of luminaries and some of the notables you got in front of.
I became a law clerk at Warner Brothers. But basically what happened is I graduated college, and then I thought, I'm gonna need a job because I'm planning to go to law school right after this summer. And then very, very serendipitously, I overhear a conversation between 3 law school grads. And one of the guys said, yeah, I just quit the cushiest job of all time. And the guy said, where was it? He said, well, it was at Warner Brothers in the legal department. It was so easy, company car, it was a breeze. And I'm thinking, great, I need all of those things. And so I immediately got the number of Warner Brothers. I said, I understand you need a law clerk, and I'm your person. Let me come in. So I came in, got the job that minute, that day, that minute, 3 o'clock. I had nothing to do for the first week. It is cushy, but also boring in this tiny little office. It wasn't even an office, it was a box. So I was working out of a box in the building. And the next following week, they said, oh, you're delivering these papers. I said, okay, and they handed me these documents this thick. So you're driving them to the Beverly Wilshire Hotel, and you're going to ask for Warren Beatty, who was at the time the biggest movie star in the world, also a director, a writer, he was everything, Warren Beatty. And I go to the Beverly Wilshire Hotel where he's living in the penthouse. Some guy comes down and says, hey, give me the papers. I said, I have to hand them to Mr. Beatty. They said, give me the papers. And so I said, no, I can't give them to you. They would be invalid if I hand them to you. They have to be handed to Mr. Beatty directly. So I have to do that or I have to take them back.
And you're completely full of shit.
Completely, I just made it up in that moment. And I didn't feel like I was hurting anybody. And so all of a sudden I'm standing in front of Warren Beatty on the top floor. He was very generous and spent an hour with me, just sitting and talking. And so it was great stories, but it was the beginning of the demystification of how leverage worked in Hollywood. And then I thought, I can expand this and I can do this every day with, even if I don't have a job to deliver papers, I'll say, hi, my name is Brian Grazer. I work in the legal department at Warner Brothers, and I want to meet your boss for the following reasons, and I do not want a job. And every person said yes, including Lew Wasserman, Jules Stein, the most powerful and talented directors. And it was Lew Wasserman that really said something to me that changed my life. So Lew Wasserman was literally the most powerful person in Hollywood, or ever to be in Hollywood. He was everything. And I thought, if I can meet him, that would be like a grand slam home run meeting. That'd be like you getting me on the show.
There you go.
I'm joking. So in any event, I'm now up at the 15th floor to meet Mr. Lew Wasserman. He said, just a minute. And he turned around, went right back into his office, without me, of course. I'm standing there, and came back with a legal tab, a big legal tab, paper, and the pencil. And he said, take those items, and when you put the pencil to the paper, it has greater value than it did as separate parts. Get out. And that meant, I was very insulting, ashamed by it, but then I realized he was saying, you got to start writing. You have to own things. You have to own IP. And since he could tell I had no money, I had no connections, I had nothing, so I better make something. And making something was to write stories that were predominantly built out of my imagination, and 2 of them became television pilots and on the way to become series. And that was like my start.
Before you made it big,
Yeah.
what were creative ways you went about saving money?
Well, I made money even when I was young, because I always had odd jobs selling magazines, paper outs that Valley News and Green Sheet when I was 8 years old. It was a voluntary payment. That's why Tom Hanks said I was he's perfect producer. He's doing a free paper out and still getting money. I put a bunch of money in a metal strong box and buried it in north part of San Fernando Valley, where it was only just mountains. I dug a hole and put $6,000 in it, which was probably then like $25,000.
Wow. Why'd you?
I don't know. I just thought it would get stolen, or I didn't know what to do with it. I put it in a couple spots, and then I thought, no, I'm going to put it in a strong box into that. So